Hello everyone, welcome on the Straight Line. This is Pallavi Sareen and today I have with me Mr. P.Stobdan, the former ambassador of India in Central Asia, and we'll be talking about Ladakh's divisional status and a little bit more about Ladakh. So Mr. Stobdan, welcome on our show.
Thank you.
Mr. Stobdan, recently Ladakh got its divisional status. Do you think that it is a sincere effort, or do you think it is just a consolation prize for its long union territory demand that has been there for ages?
Don't reduce this new thing that has happened, or the announcement of divisional status, into a very political show. That will be very, very unfortunate to see in a political context. Although there is a political backdrop, the timing and all these things.
Exactly.
There is something against this entire thing. But I think it's a very good development. It will help people, manage their issues properly, administratively. At least not so much depend now on the valley.
There's another thing that happened is that since the divisional headquarters are going to be in Leh, the people in Kargil are demanding that at least the headquarters should be for 6 months in Kargil and for 6 months in Leh. What do you think about that?
No, that is a separate issue altogether. The issue here is that the conferment of divisional status to Ladakh, how important it is. It is important because Ladakh dependency on the valley and the Jammu will be lessened. For example, if somebody loses a case in a sub-court or district court and it has been referred to higher court, the higher court is in Srinagar.
Yeah.
If there is a dispute over revenue or a land or something, revenue commissioner lives in Srinagar. So people have to find means to go to Kashmir, stay there for months to get the judgment. So how nicely these issues can be tackled. Like that, there are many other issues, administrative issues, legal issues, developmental issues. So it eases out a lot of the difficulties of the people there. So secondly, this is nothing to do with this issue alone. It is a national security imperatives. Okay, it is happening in a background of what is happening in the POK area, in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and what's happening around China. Please, when the people in Kashmir or leadership like Mehbooba is asking why Chinap is not given, why Piri Panjal
is not given.
They don't border with Pakistan. They don't border with China. Please don't compare Ladakh with the Chinap Valley. This will be very, very unfortunate if the politicians have such a myopic, such a narrow-mindedness. Ladakh is a strategic place.
Exactly.
You can't leave such a place of J&K in a vacuum.
So are you trying to say that this was a way to please the people of Ladakh so they don't drift
No,
away
it's for
to
national
China?
security. It's for strengthening national security. Maybe we want to be friendly with Pakistan, China. India and China wants to be friendly with each other. But if there is not adequate administrative and security arrangement, mind you, now a DG is going to be sitting there, IG or DG, whoever is there. So that will strengthen the security apparatus. Then I am more confident to open my border with China and do business, whatever that we want to do. Or maybe there are many other issues which I may not be able to spell out. The only thing is that we are strengthening our state control.
And what at present, what is the status on the borders of Ladakh?
Well, it's a military deployed, but administratively it is run by a 24 years old IAS officer who is the deputy commissioner. I can't relate to him or her because his status is very junior.
Exactly.
Now you will have a 60 years old or 57 years old commissioner sitting there. Protocol wise it goes up. There is a lieutenant general who is sitting there in Leh. His rank is very high, a secretary level or additional secretary level person. And here for civil administration you have a very, very deputy secretary level or under secretary level person who is covering such a huge area. That means you have reduced the importance of Ladakh to a person who is just 25 years old. That is undermining that place. So division means you are giving a status. A senior bureaucrat will be now sitting there, senior police person will be sitting there, senior judge will be sitting there.
They
So
have
what
more
happens?
experience
It
and
only
will be
helps the nation. I'm not saying in J&K context. in the context of the
National
national context, this sensitive area has to be brought under national.
Even
larger
in that context, Kargil is a very important place. So
Kargil is never an important place. It has no history.
So like
Ladakh is not known because of Kargil.
Ladakh is
Just
not known
because there is some population sitting there, you have Samba, some people may be sitting there, that doesn't undermine the importance of Jammu then. You can't say why Jammu is having, why Samba is not having, or Kathua is not having. So it's a very, very stupid thing to ask. If in Andhra Pradesh something is given, Hyderabad, no, people in Visakhapatnam can't say that why have you given to Hyderabad. Overall, Andhra Pradesh has been given. Yes, Ladakh has been given. Doesn't matter where it is, but Leh is the center of attraction. It's a metropolitan town. It's an internationally known town. Even the divisional commissioner would not like to be stationed. He'll say, I refuse to go to Kargil. Life is not comfortable there. Where will my children study there? That's when the airport is there, hospitals are there. So a vibrant city, Leh, it's an international city.
Yeah.
Every day we have 30 flights going on. Jammu may be a good place, but you can't become Kashmir, whatever you may try.
You cannot.
Kargil, whatever they may say, they can't become Leh. And there is a historical backdrop to that. Okay, Kargil was a subsect of, there is a town called Skardu which is in Pakistan. You see, so therefore, these are just stunts. Yeah, just because they have a town there, some people living there, that doesn't mean that they become so important. Everybody will, then if the Kargil says that, Zanskar will say, why Kargil, why not me? Then Daraz people will say something else. So this is very strange, unless there is some politics behind this, it is a non-issue.
So along with the politics in this issue, that granting a divisional status is a very strategic step to take for national security. That is what you're saying.
Also, but yes, there is a flip side to why it has to be stationed in Leh. I won't be able to say on the television why it is a bad thing to have this divisional commission station in Leh and why not Kargil. I would have preferred Kargil, not because Kargil deserves it, because
strategic reasons?
No, some demographic reasons. Kargilis need to be staying in Kargil.
So then, are you saying that Kargil people demanding that for 6 months you keep it here for 6 months, do you think that is feasible? Or do you think that will be a solution to what you're thinking?
If they want something like that, okay, this is a very doable thing. It's all right. Some people can go there, stay some time. It will only give them more TADA because they will earn some more money, the bureaucrats.
Will it be overall better though?
In the absence of anything, this should be solving their problem. But otherwise, I think the police IG is already going to be stationed in Kargil. Commissioner himself will be staying in Leh.
Yeah.
Because of the infrastructure reasons, connectivity reasons, even the telephonic or whatever it is, a more better administratively controlled area. And Kargil is far closer to Srinagar itself, to the valley. Leh is a very remote, very corner, somewhere near close to China border. So I think whether it is a Kashmir government or whether it's a central government, they would prefer those far-flung areas need to be better administered. So Leh is a natural choice. I mean, nobody will dispute about it. But you want to make a politics out of it, then you can make politics out of a wife and husband also. So that there's no limit to doing such things. But to me, I think it's a non-issue.
Mr. P.Stobdan, do you think that people in Ladakh feel more closer to China than they do with India? Culturally and otherwise?
In what sense? In political sense, this is a strange question.
Culturally, they feel more related to China than they do with India?
No, because we feel connected to India because this is a land of my God. Lord Buddha was not born in China.
Yeah.
Lord Buddha is born in India. So this is the land of my God. So I feel more loyal to India. So culturally,
you in particular, and so do people.
I think everybody. Maybe there are some strange cases here and there. But if you are saying in terms of some of the cultural variants. That is, there is a globalization, there's an international aspiration. I think people in Jammu also eat Chinese food, chow mein and momos and all these things.
Love that.
I'm not saying that Jammu people are close to China because just because you eat Chinese food. So when we eat Chinese food, people say, "Oh, are you closer to China?" But in Delhi, every street has a Chinese food corner.
Yeah.
So and just because the entire Pakistanis watch Bollywood doesn't mean they become Indian.
Indians. But
You
is,
know,
is
they-
it also true that there are many of the social organizations and NGOs working in Ladakh that are funded by China?
If they are there, those NGOs have been registered under the Government of India rules and regulations. Okay, how did Government of India allowed such NGOs to come up? No NGOs can survive without government permission. Their accountability in terms of funding, where all these channels are. So if such a things are happening, it speaks very bad about the Indian security and the administrative system.
But don't you feel that somewhere you can see that Ladakh is drifting a little closer towards China?
That's why you have a divisional status.
That's why. And if we have a divisional status now for Leh, is Union Territory a faraway dream or that can also come true?
Well, that's a far bigger
Issue.
issue.
Of course.
If the nation is willing to change the constitution of Jammu and Kashmir,
What are the constitutional impediments that will hamper?
the entire constitution is an amendment. You can't make any amendment without the people of Jammu Kashmir assembly who are sitting there agrees to amend the constitution. Till then, UT is not going to happen. Even this divisional status is happening because there is a presidential rule. Had there been an assembly formed by a popular government here,
You
like
think that wouldn't be
PDP or Congress or whoever there, they would have never allowed these things to happen. So this is important. Government of India wanted to give it for a very long time, as I said, because of national security reason. The assembly was objection. They were an obstacle for this. So therefore, all this are happening because today we are able to do that. And people of Ladakh are fortunate that there's a presidential rule, which means they don't like the J&K state. That's why they may be liking China or something. That question that you are raising must be having certain context. So if you neglect that place so much by the state, okay, now they are saying that why state has been so discriminative towards them for last 70 years. Only one governor from center has to come and do these things. Does show that they have been left behind.
Exactly.
And you are saying this place has been drifting. It's drifted because of this kind of a background.
This kind of attitude.
Huh?
This kind of-
Well, as I said, eating, all this thing, dressing up, there is an oriental culture which you can't deny. We have a common culture of, all of us celebrated New Year together, whether Japan, China, Korea, Ladakh or anywhere. So we have that thing, connectivity. There's nothing to do with nation state.
If Ladakh does get that union territory status, how will you look at that strategically?
Union status, at the moment I don't see that is required also, because divisional status would fulfill their administrative demand, but it still doesn't satisfy their emotional identity issues. 70% of Jammu and Kashmir is Ladakh,
Yeah.
yet it is called Jammu and Kashmir. It's not called Ladakh.
And Ladakh is often ignored.
Not
But the state government, yeah.
territories, 70-80% of Jammu and Kashmir is neither Jammu nor Kashmir. It's Ladakh.
Yeah.
But the entire area is called Jammu and Kashmir.
Jammu and Kashmir. And
So
Ladakh
this
nowhere.
is not a fair thing, and we will fight for it. So immediate thing would happen, the nomenclature of Jammu and Kashmir will be changed to Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh. Then you don't have to make union territory. Ladakhi identity is reflected through the name, okay, through the constitution, through the flag, and through
And that
the
would
title.
bring the people as well more closer with India and more closer with the state as well.
There is no question about Ladakhis are not being pro-India.
They
Not
are
with them.
pro-India, but that feeling of distance, like your name isn't in the state, you feel that you've been
If
drifting
you
because
continue
you're
to
being
treat
ignored.
like that,
Yeah.
then there will be, of course, there resentment, there a feeling of, they will assert their
So you
identity.
believe that the change of nomenclature, which has been happening all over India, is needed very badly in Jammu and Kashmir as well.
Ladakh's history. Ladakh was one of the 5 kingdoms of the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Bhutan, Sikkim, Nepal, Ladakh. And now what have they done? you have reduced it to a district. Surely
Yeah.
people are frustrated. They have a history, rich history, much better history than Jammu or even Kashmir itself.
Exactly.
Who introduced Islam to Kashmir? Ladakhis introduced.
Ladakhis.
You know, Kashmir has no history. There was a history long time ago, but Ladakh is a living civilization even today. We are more civilized than Jammu and Kashmir. When I come to Jammu, I find it very backward. We are a tribal area. We are a civilized Buddhist. You know, Buddhist is the
Yeah.
most wisdomful religion in the world. It is practiced all over the Asia, you know, and the world.
Then what do you think is the reason for this kind of discrimination?
Attitude.
Just bad.
How do you explain the Kashmiris? How do you explain the Dokras? Dokras say it's my colony. Zorawar Singh went there and we captured it. This is the feeling in Jammu. Kashmiri says no, we will look after them. You know, something like
So
that.
just like a sideline thing.
Sideline thing. Just because we don't have demography, population is just about 2 lakhs. So India being a demographic centric nation, politics moves around population.
Demography, yeah.
Because population gives a vote. Vote means assembly
Yeah.
seats. Since Ladakh does not have enough MLA or MP representation, they often ignored. अरे इसको छोड़ दो, यहाँ से कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं है. क्या मिलने वाला नहीं है? Seats नहीं है.
Like also that there is there
And
a
then everybody counts how many seats Jammu has. 25
How many?
MLAs.
Yeah.
Oh,
How many
Srinagar.
seats Kashmir
So
has?
you calculation terms in terms of a vote bank.
Yeah.
So India is a demographic centric nation. China is a state centric nation. Had India been a state centric nation, you give more emphasis to the territory.
Then Ladakh would have been.
Less
hard.
emphasis on the population. You see? Because if there are area which are not populated, you should not think about it. That means China will take it. Or let Pakistan take it. This is how we've been losing territory. Because your calculation is based on population.
As of now, what is the status on the borders? Like we heard about the Doklam issue, which the Chinese have infiltrated. So right now, where you and I are talking, what is the status on the borders in Ladakh?
Yeah, it is true that if Ladakh is not given what it is due for them, there could be Doklam there also. So this is why I am saying national security context. Why this is happening? It is happening within a context. And the context is that any part of the Himalayas which are vulnerable could be subject to Chinese incursion or occupying it. So you have to strengthening your police force, your administrative structure, your presence there. And it only helps divisional status, just a small step to
So now,
fulfill.
along with divisional status, what else do you think is due? What's the next step? What should be the next step?
Yes, next step is you have to improve the connectivity. Zojila tunnel
Yeah.
people are talking about. The people don't get enough access to medical facilities because it's cut off.
Yeah.
These are, I don't think divisional
These are
status
basic
will.
issues,
These things will not be solved because of divisional status. Then there are issues of non-availability of the essential items like vegetables. It's cut off. So and also health facilities. All these things need to be taken care of so that they've been brought into the mainstream. And also I think the people of Ladakh has to be empowered in a good way. Tourism has to be promoted, agriculture has to be enhanced, environment has to be preserved. J&K doesn't have any sense of protection of the environment, you know.
But in Ladakh, it is very important.
Ladakh
This
is very
fragile.
important. Yeah, we are concerned about the glacier melt. We are concerned about global warming.
The water.
Yes, J&K doesn't have any sense. Your administration doesn't think. People are even Jammu. I don't think everybody pollutes. Everybody dirty the streets. We are not like that. That's why you feel close. You say that we are closer to Japan or China. Yes, we are more cleaner people, more civilized people. We don't litter. We don't spit. We are concerned about all these things. And when we see all these things coming from outside, we feel concerned and we reject this. So when we reject it, we tend to appreciate something better. And if other people are better, we appreciate that. When I watch television in Leh, where the Chinese are going away with 200 gold medals in Olympic, I feel jealous. You know, because maybe they have better infrastructures for sports people. And here in one bronze you get, so we feel it that, why I can't get gold medal.
Why we don't have the same infrastructure? Why we don't care about the environment that much?
Nothing. Your pollution you are consuming every day. How you want to grow your children? So these things you have to learn a lot from Ladakh itself. Nation has to learn. The state has to learn. So this is the idea. If you neglect the area, then obviously not just Ladakh, any part of India, you will have problem. You see in Chhattisgarh, what is Naxal? Naxal is a socio-economic issue. It's not a law and order problem. It is a backwardness, remoteness, and exploitativeness. Rich people go there and exploit the jungles, minerals of Chhattisgarh. The poor tribals don't get access. Their resources are being exploited by a rich man in Indore or Madhya Pradesh. So obviously they will react.
Quite an imbalance.
Yeah. So I'm sure even now Ladakh tourism must be exploited. But somebody sitting in Srinagar.
Last I heard that the previous state government didn't even include Ladakh in the Buddhist circuit.
Yes.
They didn't even send any proposal for tourism in Ladakh.
We have the Pashmina industry, which is controlled by Valley. Rich people in Delhi, in Srinagar. So these are issues, and I think this is a good step. One should appreciate it. The Jammu factor is important, but their demand also need to be addressed. But I don't think this is the way you can say that Ladakh has been given. You don't have to. Ladakh has been given.
Reasons.
Now you say I am not been given. He has been given. There is no such thing. If you go by such things, then Nubra has not been given. Zanskar has not been given. Changthang, which is bordering with China, they have been given. They should also be demanding something or the other. I think there is no basis for it. Kargil used to be part of Leh till very recently, till 1978. It was part of the Ladakh district.
Yeah.
So that's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. P.Stobdan, for that
Thank you.
conversation. This was Pallavi Serene on the Straight Line signing off.